What's going on, Black Student Success Tribe? This is Miss Mathadon, Miss Andrea, back in the building for another episode. Man, happy semester. Happy fall semester for everyone. But this episode is mainly for my graduating seniors, my seniors who may be graduating in December, who may be graduating in May. This video is for you. I have been there and done that far as with high school, far as with college. Sometimes, probably I'll say 95% of us, let's keep it honest, we get senioritis. We like, I'm about to be up out of here. And you don't have a transitional plan. What's a transitional plan, Miss Mathadon? I don't even know what you're talking about because I got this. The job's going to be popping when I graduate. Well, let's back up for a minute. The way that the economy is going, it has been predicted that we are on our way to another recession. We had a recession in 2008. I was in my second year of graduate school, and let me tell y'all something. It was not pretty. People was losing their homes. People was losing their investments, their 401k, losing jobs left and right. So the jobs that was, for us in 2008, and let's fast forward 11 years later, they're no longer there. So that's why in earlier videos, I tell you all, do not box yourselves in. Don't box your skills in. Don't box your degree in. Don't think, well, you know what? I have a degree in, let's say, finance. I'm going to do something amazing in the financial district or whatever the case is of your city of, choice. But that job that you was looking for is no longer there. So what do? That's why you have to have a transition plan. I'm a big planner. I'm a big organizer when it comes to life, when it comes to careers, when it comes to all that good stuff, because you never know where your life is going to end up at once you graduate. So let me tell you a quick story. Last week, I was at one of my campuses talking to some lovely students. And, it was like a group of students. It was about 3 or 4 of them. They came to me. They were so eager to hear what I was going to say. So I was like, well, tell me your classification. They were so proud, like, oh, I'm a graduating senior. So I was like, oh, so I had to change my approach differently, which is true because at this point in time, we hopefully we're functioning at our best selves. Like hopefully we're living our best lives. We're, being our best selves because we're 22, 23 years old in the game and no one can tell us anything. People can still tell you something. So this is when it's the time for you to still be a learner. So I had to change my approach for these amazing, brilliant Black students. I was like, oh my God, congratulations. You guys have made it so far. So I was like, well, what is, your plan? One gentleman, he told me his plan and I said, okay, cool. So what if, plan A doesn't work? What are 2 or 3 other plans you have to have? Why I say, have multiple plans? Because you think A is going to work, but God or whoever you serve may say, ha, 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 the joke is on you. You need to come up with another plan. And sometimes, too, we dumb down our plans, right? We think we get this degree, we're going to get this whatever job to survive. And sometimes we cap ourselves on a plan. So you have to start thinking outside the box when it comes to planning. The other 2 brilliant Black students looked at me like deer in the headlights, like, what you mean a transitional plan? I'm like, you don't have a transitional plan. What have you done on campus that's going to help you transition to the next level in your life? Because once you're fully out of, undergrad school, what's the plan? Are you going to take a year off to go to grad school? Are you going to take a year off to like get some skills underneath your belt and decide if you need to go get a certificate or, travel the world, do whatever the case is? What is your plan? And they just looked at me like they're in the headlights. Now, mind you, the guy that was, telling me his plans, he gave me, another 2, 3 plans. So I individually put them on the spot. And I didn't mean to put them on the spot in a way it's such a bad thing, but sometimes you have to have that group thinking. You have to have that synergy so someone can be like, you know what, I know you dope at X, Y, and Z. Have you thought about doing this? And then add that to your plan. So, once I put the other 2 students on the spot, one of them started coming up with a lot of amazing plans that was realistic too. Because a lot of times we can have some unrealistic plans, and we have to be honest with ourselves and be like, is that realistic for us to do? Or just even, do I have the social capital? When I mean social capital, the networking, the wealth to go and do these things, such as open up a food truck. What do you know about a food truck? Do you have, the capacity to do that? Do you understand how many restaurants and food trucks fail a year? And it's not, it's just to get scare off someone, but you have to be very sure that's what you want to do and that you want to grind it out and do that, right? And that was actually one of the plans that, the students had presented. And I said, okay, well, how are you going to get the capital to do that? So that was one. And the other student I talked to had no clue of what he wanted to do. And so when I was asking him, hey, what did you do for the past summers? What is your skills? What is your strengths? And then once I started, digging in deep, not to get in his business, it was more like, wow, I didn't have anyone to pull this out of me. So on the flip side, if you're an educator, if you are a counselor, if you are an advisor, sometimes we have to have alternative methods to like assess our students and to say, hey, what are you really dope at doing? And dig, through the process, assess it, but also to have them do the work. Don't do the work and say, hey, you're going to get your BA in business administration. You should do this. They can do so many different things with that. So yes, it's cool to give them coaching and advice, but also to how are they going to do the work for themselves so they can understand that they can do amazing things, but also to be a critical thinker when plan A doesn't go well. So I spent about like 10 minutes with these students and develop a transition plan. So you probably like, okay, Andrea, that's cool. You help those students. How are you going to help me? How are you going to help my students? They're seniors, whether you are a senior in high school or whether you are a senior in college. Now, not tomorrow. Now is the time to think of your transition plan. What is a transition plan? What's going to help you get from point A, from whether it's high school or college, to point B, whether it's a higher education institution, whether it's a tech school, whether it's a certificate, whether it's a job. What does that look like? What are you capable of? Because everyone's not a 4-year student. Let's keep it honest, right? We always push in college, but there's so many other methods, that people can be successful, live a simple life to obtain, their dreams and their goals. When I'm talking about the dreams, I'm talking about you want to own a house, you want to have the basic necessities to be a complete holistic adult. And it's going to be a little bit tougher for us if you are a Black student, correct? Because we have more barriers in place and more systematic racism to keep us further away from attaining that goal, but it's doable, right? So that's the plan. What does that look like? Do you want to go to a 4-year institution? Do you want to go to a trade school? Do you want to go to an allied health school? Do you want to let's say go be a civil service? Do you want to go into the military? What does that plan look like? What's the 3 action steps you're going to do? Are you going to do motivational interviewing, in which you may pick up the phone, or in which you may go on a website, or which you may go on social media, LinkedIn, whatever the case is, to figure out, okay, what does allied health school look like? What can I major in? Okay, coding, cool. Can I do coding from home? Let's say, you have kids, whatever the case is, if you're a non-traditional student. How much money can I make in that field? How long is it going to take me to get a coding certificate? So it may be 2 years. What does that like? What does it like for me to go into the military? Do I need to lose weight? What do I need to get on the ASVAB to, get a particular field, to MOS, military occupational service, a job? Where do I have to go to basic training? Would I get a GI Bill? So stuff like that. Also, too, if you want to work for the city, being a firefighter, a police officer, a correction officer, whatever the case is, what does that look like? How old do I have to be? Do I have to meet, a physical fitness, test? Do I have to be under a certain, weight? What does that look like? And I don't think enough of us, don't have the capacity because a lot of us are first generation, let's say graduating from high school or even from college, we don't have the resources, right? Because our resources are kind of limited, especially if you go to an HBCU. So that's why I always tell students, like, pay attention to folks who come to your school, to see and ask questions on what do they do, how did they get there, who helped them. And that's another thing too, who's going to help you get to these places? Because this whole new thing of like, oh, I'm self-made, there's no such thing as someone being self-made. Someone had helped someone get to that point in their level in their life. So if you have you gravitate to a guest speaker who came and spoke at, your organization or at your university or at your high school, and if you're really vibing with them, or if you're not vibing with them, ask them questions. If they give you their business card, and I said this in previous videos before, email them and say, hey, how do I get to this level? And it may not be in something that they're working in, it may be in something else, and they may have the social capital, the network to say, hey, I have a friend who's a social worker, and she's been a social worker for 15 years and she's been doing clinical work or school social work. I'm going to connect you all, and stay open, and don't just close off. So it's going back to asking for help, right? Having the courage to ask for help. So make sure you have that transitional plan. Make sure that transitional plan is customized for you. It's going to look different. And don't just have one plan. Have about like 3, 4, 5 plans. Because, when one plan fail, at least there'll be another door to open up. And don't be afraid of if you have to learn more skills. If that job's like, hey, we want to send you to school and learn this skill, don't be afraid to say, hey, I want to be the first person to do that. Also too, ask for mentoring. A lot of times we don't have mentors because we're like, oh, well, I don't want to feel like I'm behind or I'm slow, whatever the case is. A mentor is just someone who's going to coach you and guide you in the right direction that's outside of your parents. Because our parents can have the best for us, but sometimes our parents can be like, I want you to go be a lawyer, and you got to be a lawyer, and that's not what you want to do in your hearts of hearts. You may want to be an artist. So make sure you have a transition plan, like I said, at least about 3 to 5. I know that sounds like a lot, just in case the first transition plan does not work out. And you want to have these hopes and dreams. You want to manifest a lot of dope stuff, but sometimes the first plan just flop because maybe you missed the deadline. Maybe you wasn't tenacious enough to go after it. Maybe we was afraid to go after it. Maybe someone talked us out of it. Maybe we feel we're not good enough. Maybe we felt we put the self limitations on ourselves. Maybe because, and I'm going to get into this really quick, you have this boyfriend and this girlfriend, oh my God, I don't want to leave them. But guess what? If it's meant to be, go off and go to school out of state. And then if it's meant to be for you guys to like link up later on in the future, it will happen. It will be in God's plans, the Almighty, Most High, whoever you call the person you serve, plans. So do not limit yourself when it comes to your transitional plan. Make sure you have your transitional plan now. So when let me see, college students down here in the South, they graduate May, and I think across the board. College students up north, me being from Boston, graduate late May, early June. Have that plan. High school students have that plan. When am I going to apply for scholarships? Now. When am I going to apply for book scholarships? Now. You're going to start getting your acceptance letter if you have not been getting them. So make sure you have that transitional plan. Make sure that you if you want to try with folks and you like, hey, what you gonna do? And they're like, I don't know. Make sure your friends have a transitional plan. Make sure you're rubbing off good habits. Because it's cool. You're gonna have all the time in the world to watch YouTube, to be on social media, whatever the case is. But now it's go time, now it's grind time. So make sure that you have your plan in order. And that is it. Thank you all for watching the video. Do not forget to like, hit the button, the bell to know when I'm going to come on. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to be your beautiful Black successful self. Make sure you share this with another Black student, someone in your tribe. Make sure you have your transitional plan. If you have any questions, you can definitely reach out to me in the comment section, or you can email me at Drea, Drea, at browngirlfromboston.com. If you need career coaching, transitional coaching, I'm your girl. Like, holla at me. You know, I'll try my best to help you with transitional planning. But for real, make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, and share your tips on your transitional plan. So much love and light to you all. Peace.